Morning garden friends, it's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. I am going to take care of a number of things today. The peonies have arrived. So our bare root peonies, I have 2 crates of them here, have arrived. And because they're bare root and they're kind of dry, they need to soak first. So I'm going to take care of that. And then we're going to plant as many as we can fit. And I'm also going to be direct sowing some stuff today, including Phacelia, which is also called Bee's Friend. Kind of hard to see, but that's what it looks like. It's only a small packet because I'm trying it for the first time, but a lot of my flower farmer friends who have regenerative practices have been having great success in direct sowing this with their straw flower. So interplanting is a great way to maximize your space and also to give you 2 crops over kind of the same period of time. And they usually are companions, and so they help each other out, both under the ground and in terms of bringing in pollinators. So I'm going to try this today. Also, we've got a load of seeds here that I'm going to direct sow. I have a lot of Nigella. I have an Albion mix, a Starry Night mix, and a green pod. And I'm going to interplant these. I'm not sure yet with what out there, but I'm going to. And then I also have Iceland poppies, which I'm going to interplant, believe it or not, with the peonies, because these guys will be up and done just as the peonies are waking up and starting to do their thing. And then I have a load of bachelor buttons. I know I always say I'm not going to grow these. I'm not going to interplant these guys because they are kind of a nightmare to harvest, but I am going to find some places all over the property to direct sow them because I have all these seeds and I should use them. So the varieties I have are Black Magic. I have a Classic Magic, which is kind of a pinkish blues colors. Classic Fantastic, not sure what that's going to be. Blue Boy, there we go. Choice Mix and another Classic Magic. So, direct sowing today. In addition to putting peonies in the front cut flower garden, I'm also going to be transplanting some in the back in our side cottage garden, because on one side, the side closest to the house where I have the climbing roses, I'll show you all this when we get out there. This year I planted hydrangeas, limelights. So limelights and peonies make great bedfellows. So since I have so many peonies, I'm going to put some along that row as well, interplanted as neighbors with the hydrangeas. So bare root peonies, they're probably not going to give me any blooms this year. If they do, they won't be blooms that are true to the flower that they will become. When you plant bare root peonies, it's usually 3 to 5 years before you get a really good crop, but that's okay. So also, they don't like to be disturbed. So pick your place where you're going to put them wisely, because they're going to want to stay there. The other option is to keep them in large pots, and then you can just move them around wherever you want. Now, I'm in a zone 9B. That's really pushing it for peonies. They want a very cold winter. They need that dormant period so that they can build up enough to come into the spring and bloom in the summer. Without that, they just don't do well. So before I bought all of these, I tested a few. This year I planted some peonies, 3 in the front garden, and they did great. Now they weren't bare root, they were already established peonies, but they did fine. So we will see how these do. We do get lots of colds. We get plenty of nights in the 20s, upper 20s and low 30s. So I'm hoping that they'll have enough winter that they'll do fine. It's kind of the same thing with the daffodils and tulips. They want a cold winter in order to produce well. And tulips especially have a hard time in zones 9 and up. But my tulips have been doing well. I've been getting beautiful displays, and the daffodils as well. So I'm thinking that because our house is at this kind of dip, this little valley, surrounded by hills, and we tend to get a lot colder than our neighbors even just up the hill. I'm thinking that that is a little microclimate that I can take advantage of, that maybe I'm more like a zone 8 than a zone 9 right here at the house. So I'm going to get started. Come along. When you get bare root plants in the mail, it's a good idea to soak them for about an hour or two in water before you plant them. That's because they've been sitting in slightly damp wood chips or wood shavings in the mail. These peonies are actually very, very slightly damp, but I am going to soak them before I put them in the ground. So let me show you what a bare root peony plant looks like. Now, when you buy peonies, okay, so here's all the roots. When you buy peonies, you have a choice of bare roots of how many eyes are on it. The amount of eyes means the amount of buds, shoots that will become branches and will flower. So the more eyes you get, the sooner you're going to have flowers. So I got, my boxes of peonies were 3 to 5 eyes as opposed to 2 to 3. They're more expensive, but you have more production sooner. So you've got the anatomy of a peony tuber is you've got the roots here, right? And they've been cut so that they can be shipped. And then you have the eyes. So you can see those little fleshy bumps sticking out. Those are the eyes. These are what you want to plant facing up. If you plant them facing down, you're not going to get anything happening. The other thing is peonies really don't like to be buried deep. So if you are in zones, 8 and below, which is really, they grow best between zones 3 and 8. If you are in those zones, you want to plant your peony so that the eyes are only 2 inches below the surface, okay? 2 inches, no more. So don't plant them deep. If you are in a higher zone, like myself, plant them only 1 inch deep. The eyes, not the whole body, just the eyes, 1 inch deep, because they need to be closer to the surface to get that colder weather because the ground doesn't freeze, right? So that is how you need to plant them in terms of depth. Now, in terms of spacing, and when we go to, after they soak, I'll take you and show you how I'm going to space them. You have a couple of options. They're going to get big, so you want to give them plenty of space. And if you crowd them, they won't produce very well for you. So, and they'll have shorter lifespans. So, if you are planting in a single row, and I'm going to do both of these things. So I'm going to plant in a single row along my fence line, which is only basically like a 18-inch wide bed. I'm going to plant in a single row. If that's the case, then you want to plant them 24 inches apart. Okay, sounds like a lot, but they need space to grow. If you are planting them in 2 rows, then you plant them still 24 inches apart, but offset by 18 inches. So instead of having the 2 planted, let's say the rows are going this way, instead of having these two every 24 inches apart, you're going to go 1, 18 inches, and so it's going to be like a zigzag. But the ones in the rows are still 24 inches apart. Does that make sense? That kind of maximizes some space, but you still get the spacing that you need. All right, so all I'm going to do now is put these guys in this bucket of water. I don't need a bubbler or anything. They're only going to be in here for about an hour, and they just are trying to soak up some moisture to start getting them ready to go in the ground. Now, I've already measured how many I can fit in the front bed at the 24-inch spacing, 18 inches apart per row, and I can fit 14. So that is what's going in this bucket right here. This is the Festiva Maximus variety. And then I have one other variety that I'm going to put in this other bucket. So the peony roots are soaked and they are ready to go in the ground. I've already done a few. This is the area where I'm doing 2 rows, but they're on a diagonal from each other so that we can fit more in a smaller space. So I've just planted one right here, and now I'm going to go 2 feet to right here. Problem is, this might be a little weird because this is a post, so we'll see. I don't know how how easy it's going to be to dig, but we will see. Oh yeah, that's fine. The soil is really nice right here. Okay, and all these peony roots are slightly different. Like some of them are really big, so you need a much bigger hole. Like in this case, I'm going to widen this hole quite a bit. There's still roots in here from previous plantings. And then, so because this is like on an angle, right? There's like this triangle here. I want to build the soil up underneath it so that it sits on a hill of soil. And that provides some support to the roots that need to then go into the ground. Just like that. And then you see those, these are the eyes. And because I'm in a higher zone, I want those just under the surface. All right, so here we go. Tucked in, ready for bed. Now I also planted one right here. Right here. And so now I'm going to measure 24 inches. And that means the next one is going to go here. And then we just continue on down the row, just like that. So here's the eyes. So I really want to put it in like this so that the eyes are closer to the surface. And then just backfill. And then continue on down the row. Okay, so the peonies are planted, at least the ones in the front here. I'm gonna do the ones in the back probably tomorrow because I have baking to do. I've got 2 types of bread going. I'm gonna make banana bread for the kids, sourdough banana bread actually, for the kids. And now though, I need to start trying to find some homes for some seedlings that I have in trays. These were going to go out at the farm, but they are not now. So what we have here is a couple things. Let me show you. Okay, so this is a beautiful tray of yarrow or achillea. I believe it's the summer berries variety. Yes, summer berries. This is a tray of solidago. And so is this, 2 different varieties. This one's called Romantic Glory. And this one is called, I don't know. It's a golden one. This one's more white. And then this is Echinops Blue Glow. So these are all perennials. And I just need to find some homes for them. I do have a couple of clients that are gonna get these for their landscape work, but I have more here than I need for that. So I'm going to start popping them in various places in our landscape. I think I'm going to put some popped in randomly throughout this crazy wild bed. I'm not going to clean this up until the spring because the birds do use all of these little seed pods and stuff for food all winter. And then in early spring, I just come and I cut back everything and it starts fresh. And there are hundreds and hundreds of, there's probably like 700 daffodil bulbs in here, which of course you can't see right now, but come up in the spring. They gave us a beautiful show this year. So now I'm going to add things like yarrow and solidago in here, and they'll just add to it. So the addition of those varieties will actually give us more color in the summer than what we have now here. This is monkey flower and it's pink. Obviously not now, but that's late spring, early summer. Right as the daffodils are fading. We have a lot of lavender in here that blooms late spring into summer. And then we have some decorative grasses. We have hellebores in here, which you can't see now because they are dormant. And so I want to make sure we have multiple flowering things for seasonal interest. And achillea or yarrow starts blooming in midsummer, goes all the way through fall. And then the solidago is late summer into fall. So I planted up as much as I could of the yarrow and the solidago along the front walk. I put little groupings of it everywhere in like 3s, 5s, and 7s. I am literally covered in these like hitchhiker guys. It's in my hair. Oh, it's gonna be so hard to get rid of. I mean, thankfully they don't hurt, but you can't even put these things in the wash or they just get stuck to all your other clothing. So I'm gonna have to literally sit here and just pick them off. Anyway, I'm in the greenhouse because over the next couple days, I need to get some other things in the ground that have been in here way too long. So I will show you. This is a tray of Canterbury Bells. It's a deluxe mix. I planted these, I sowed these seeds on July 21st. That is way, way, way too long to have them in here. They're starting to suffer, you can tell just by looking at them. So I need to get these in the cottage garden. The problem is we're not gonna have rain for at least a few weeks still, and it's hard to keep things hydrated in there this time of year. Okay, so then here I have, let's see, Paris Island romaine, green, other kinds of green gemstone greens, and matador spinach. So this just can go into the green stalks where I have some space. So that's gonna be pretty easy. This guy is a more straw flower, vintage white. Still can sit in here for a while. I only put these, I sowed these on it's only been a month, not even a month, 22nd of October, of September. So they have some more time and they're too small right now anyway. And then this is balloon flower, also sowed 21st of July, even starting to bolt. So these guys also to go into the cottage garden. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a tray of Rudbeckia, which is famously hard to germinate. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll get decent germination, most of the time I don't, and it can take a really long time. So it's okay. I don't really need Rudbeckia at this point. I've already got some planted out there. And this is Irish Eyes right here. So I'll probably just pop these in the cottage garden at some point. And then I also have Snow Thimble digitalis. This is foxglove. Also getting, I fertilized these guys, but have been in here forever. Time to go out there. I technically don't really need to be sowing foxglove anymore because we have so many now out there in the cottage garden and they self-sow. Each one of those stalks is trillions of seeds. So when the seed pod gets dried out and you shake it, they just go everywhere. So they self-sow really, really well. But I started some just in case I was going to put them out at the farm. And then I have 3 big trays of ornamental kale, red and white. And I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with those. So, a real quick follow-up on Customer Appreciation Day, which is still this Saturday, still scheduled for this Saturday. However, because of the changes at the farm, we're going to do it here at the house. I have, all the seedlings are in the ground. People can walk through the garden and see what's going on there, see what I've planted. It's not much to look at because nothing's blooming, but I am offering my customers some floral besoms and floral pumpkins and things like that, and a couple of treats. I just want them to feel like I appreciate their business. So if you are local and you want to come out to Customer Appreciation Day at the farm, my home farm, it is this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I'll put the link to registration in the description box below. It's a free event, but I'm asking for registration so that I have an idea of how many people I should prepare for, because I am providing snacks. So, all right, that's gonna be it for me today. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow I will be making stuff for Customer Appreciation Day. And I might have some time to do some of this transplanting. We'll just have to see. It's going to be beautifully cool this weekend in the 60s. So I'm super excited. It's going to feel like early fall. But there's still no rain in the forecast. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some before the end of November, which is when we usually get it. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful time in your garden, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.